on Thursday morning at 3 in the morning. Just about the flow, just want to show you what I'm getting. I'm not sure why it's gone so very grainy. I've done everything to reset it. I'm quite familiar with the thing, so I know that it's not anything that I'm doing wrong, well, as far as I'm aware. But I've even gone back to restore factory settings. Okay, but regardless, this is what you get. So now this is when it's in white hot mode. So it's just really not even visible. It just seems to have got bad like that over last night. It was never quite as good as the other one in terms of the visibility, but last night I could sort of see the waves and stuff, and now I absolutely can't. So there you can see it's back, and pretty much what I'm looking at on the screen, your screen, the computer, the phone screen is exactly the same. I can go here and I can play with, brightness as you do, and I can make it very dark and you still can't see anything. I can make it very bright and you can't see anything. So definitely something's gone wrong on this camera. Frankly, to have spent $20,000 on a unit that's not working, one should get support from Leopard, who sold us this unit. They should either take it back or replace it again. But as yet, we're not really getting much support from Leopard. But we have found a problem here that we're going to ask Leopard for some advice on. You can see this is a port sheet in this case. Today going up to the spinnaker, but sometimes going up to the code 0, and you can see just at this point here there's some chafing. So it's chafing, this line is coming down more at an angle and chafing on this very edge. It's hard to see because it's black, but you can see the line bending at this point. It's coming straight along here, it bends at this point, and it gets chafed on the edge of this block. Maybe you can see that edge there. And then it comes perfectly over this chafe plate, no problem at all. You can see some of the powder of the red thing, but of the red rope. But then what happens is this block here doesn't twist. It needs to twist in that way, because in the meantime it's coming in over here and chafing there and going up over there and chafing there. You'd think this block would do that, but it's not. It's actually fixed. So I need to know if there are fixed blocks. In the meantime, we've put on these hoses, as it were, over the stanchion lines, because in certain positions, especially on the code 0, this port sheet comes along and scrapes against the metal of this. So this is really helping over here. That was the solution there. Here, we need a solution, an idea of how to stop the chafe that occurs on this edge here, on that line. See it. Oh, it's too dark to see. Yeah, there we go.
Are you dropping? Are you dropping the wholesale? Well, then you're dropping.
Yeah. Okay, so that was done to those two lines, which are the port sheet and the starboard sheet, and now and they blew last night when we were flying our code 0, and now a brand new line is already destroyed. Brand new line is destroyed over there. So we've been moving it the whole night. This was 100% brand new, and you can see the destruction in just one day. So this line is a write-off as well. So now we've got 3 lines that are destroyed, and they're pretty pricey. It's not on the roller. It's actually just chafing over here, and a little bit of chafe happens here, but it's not bad. This is not destroying it. It's being destroyed here. This is just shocking. So the factory knows about this. The very experienced guy at Leopard says that he's never had this happen before. But you can see how this rope, now this is the third line that's gone. Plus we've been moving it. You can see how we've been moving it all along the way. We've been moving it everywhere to try and distribute the chafe. And in this specific instance, it's actually taken off the cover and it's about to go. We have to cut this and then pull in the code 0 because we can't get it through because this sheet doesn't go through. So that's your very experienced guy at Leopard who says that he's never seen this before, but this is the way it is because of a mold. But I don't think so. There we go. But it also sounds like that metal sounding thing is not the only thing whacking in the mast. Explain to me, you're that little? Explain to me what happened last night.
Last night we were on a beam,
Yeah.
and everything was going great. We were starboard
Yeah.
beam,
Yeah.
and we were flying our code 0. Everything was fine, and we were on autopilot.
No,
On wind vane. We were on wind
yeah.
vane, and all of a sudden, it just swung our boat 180.
Yeah.
We just lost complete control.
Okay.
And what had actually happened is that our
So,
wind.
so hang on, as you went, so you called me then, right?
Yeah. Then I called you.
Yeah. What did you think? What did you think was wrong?
The first thing I thought was the autopilot. I thought
packed up.
we had lost power, control of the boat on the steering.
But why didn't you think it was rudder?
I don't know. I just my first initial
Yeah.
thing was autopilot.
Okay.
But by the time Carol had come to fetch you and you got up, we could see that the autopilot had still been working.
How did you know that?
Because just before you came up, I started the engines while she was calling you. I'd started the engines and I was getting ready to go. I went to standby and I was getting ready to turn, but the boat
Yeah.
was already turned completely to starboard.
Yeah.
So then they always tell you, steer and then gear.
Yeah.
So that's what we were doing, and then by the time you got up, obviously,
Yeah. Okay. So when I got up, the first thing that went through my mind when you said we lost steering was the rudder, because that's the worst. So then you've got to sit with the tiller. The second thing that went through my mind was almost like a relief. Was okay, autopilot, but that's fine because we just had
we have a backup.
autopilot. But then when I saw the little rudder position, I knew that we were right over the one way, and therefore we couldn't turn it that way. So then when I saw that, I thought that it was because somehow we'd lost speed. I couldn't explain that, and that therefore the boat had just turned into a weird position and it couldn't steer.
It was actually quite weird because how I noticed
Yeah.
was the boat just, and I'm talking instantly, it was, what had happened, it was just like instant.
Yeah,
Almost as if you're pivoting on both motors.
yeah,
It was like having our port engine on full throttle and our starboard engine in reverse.
Yeah.
Literally just a 180 pivot.
yeah.
But now we know
Yeah.
what had happened.
Okay, so once we worked out that it was that the wind direction was just spinning around on the computer.
Yeah.
The boat was just, because it was locked in on that wind vane, the boat was just spinning around.
Well, actually what had happened is it was coming from our starboard side, the wind was hitting us at 90.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
And so we're going northwest
Yeah.
because that's the way we
and
set
it
it.
swung right around, and then it stayed here. So the boat was actually
literally
trying
turning
to,
around
yeah,
and
trying to
going
get,
back the other
yeah,
way.
it was trying to keep it at
But
night.
it couldn't because there was nothing driving.
And
So
then it
was
started
just-
spinning, remember?
Yeah.
Then we had no idea which direction
Yeah.
the wind was coming.
Yeah. Okay, so then basically just because I can hardly even remember, I just remember being woken up. So basically we put engines on and got the boat back into the correct direction and then set it on autopilot instead of
Yeah.
wind vane.
The wind is off. There we go. You see it swirling around all over the place. You can also see it, I mean, it's saying 9 and 11 and what have you. It's probably about 15 to starboard at the moment. In fact, that is the correct wind speed over there. That 14, 13. But yet that's the one last night that jumped to 53. This one here now is, okay, it's about correct, but it's just on the wrong side. So the wind is definitely off to starboard at the moment and not coming from port. It's showing we've got wind on the nose of 0. You can see over here it's got a true wind speed, it's saying of 5.2, apparent wind speed of 0, apparent wind angle of 0. So folk, that's it for our major issues while we are underway on the Atlantic crossing. There were some small issues like, I don't know, doors that would, where the latches would rip out of the doors, George's toilet, small things like
She'd
that.
find herself on the floor with the toilet seat in her hand.
Yeah,
on
but
a
I think we
rough
might have
sea.
mentioned that in another...
No, we haven't.
Okay, yeah.
No, okay.
So the mast noise and the faulty navigation equipment in this video are the last of the major issues to report from our crossing. Little did we know that the mast and navigation equipment issues turned out to be related to each other. And it turned out that they are the most biggest and most frightening of all the issues. So we're specifically passionate about this issue because we know something about it. Not only is it a serious and a big issue and potentially a huge safety risk, but it's also an issue that Leopard knows about, and it's an issue that many owners have had to discover for themselves.
Exactly like we had to.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in fact, there was no hand-holding. When the issue happened, we were trying to work out what was going on. We were phoning through to Leopard, not being given a direct answer, not being told this is what it is.
Yeah.
And the trouble and the stress that caused is just unbelievable.
But in the meantime, the same Leopard sales guy in Cape Town that seems to have some kind of a personal vendetta against you, because he's treated you really, really shockingly on 3 separate occasions.
Yeah.
He let us know in a one-liner email that every single warranty claim, including this one, had just been declined.
Just blanket decline everything. And there's about 12, you've seen the videos. Each one of those is a warranty claim, without a question. We've got 4 different types of items. The first one is an item that was reported in Cape Town, which before we left, which is way before the warranty expired. The warranty expired on the 28th of September, which is pretty much halfway in our crossing. So items that were reported in Cape Town, which
That
are
they
way
tried
before,
to fix
that
already.
they try to fix, like the leaking diesel tanks. They tried to fix the leaking diesel tanks. We thought they were fixed. We went underway, and you can see in the video, Garen found them still leaking. They've declined that. Now, there's no question that's theirs. So, yep, this guy. Items that second was items that were recorded or reported during the Atlantic crossing before the expiry of warranty, and therefore there's no question that those are warranty items. The third was an issue that is a known issue, like this one. The factory delivered these like this, and they know about this issue.
They've had plenty owners that have claimed for exactly the same.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of issues that are just known issues. They know they're real because they come from the factory like that. Number 4 are items that are clearly delivered from the factory exactly like that, that you could not have had anything to do with. Nobody will question that it's come from the factory like that. For instance, in this video, you've just seen the port sheet block. So it's positioned where it's positioned. It's part of the mold. And as a result, the sheet, the line just goes through and chafes. So items like that that have got nothing to do with you and everything to do with the structure of the boat, or there is no question that it's come from the factory like that, are the 4th type of item. In other words, all valid warranty. This guy just sends an email and says, stuff you. It's declined. One simple email.
One line.
Yeah, one line, one simple sentence.
Yeah.
Just says, all your emails are gone. Now, how good is that? Now, does that mean that the company Leopard is the problem, or just that individual within the company? I've seen good companies, and I've been part of good companies with not good individuals in. So I don't judge Leopard by this guy. I think that would be grossly unfair. While underway, we had absolutely no idea why the instruments were going totally wonky. We had no idea. And later, why suddenly all the readings totally vanished. We had no wind direction, we had no wind speed, we had no current direction, and we had no current speed. And on a sailing boat, if you don't have working instruments, you're pretty much up Schitt's Creek without paddles. And that's the bottom line. And we weren't up Schitt's Creek. We weren't up any creek. We were in the middle of the bloody Atlantic without all of this. This is what they did to us. Regarding Raymarine equipment, we just want to give a shout out now to both Jason and PK from MDM. These guys have been fantastic in trying to help us fix these issues, even before we left Cape Town. And in fact, Jason was on the phone to us here in the Caribbean the other day, still trying to help us fix these issues. So on this boat, the Raymarine chart plotter and equipment has always been unstable, right from the day that Leopard delivered and handed the boat over to us. The chart plotter randomly freezes, usually exactly when you need it most. Oh, we're having quite a gale going on here.
Blowing.
And usually when you need the chart plotter most, it freezes, and then sometimes it just shuts down. It literally restarts on its own, and frequently it gives false alarms, a whole ton of false alarms. Of course, we assumed that the most recent issues, these issues of all of this Raymarine equipment that you've seen in this video, was just Raymarine stuff again. Well, they were not. So with regard to the mast issue, this boat was kept in Cape Town for 13 months. And that's another few videos, while Leopard and the factory repaired a list of about 100 factory warranty items and 100 Leopard aftermarket issues, all of which will be covered up in forthcoming videos. But the reason I mention this is while it was kept in Cape Town for that time, I'd go out day sailing, do a couple of day sails, and I would hear this noise coming from, in fact, I had one or two of the guys that I took out, Valentine and what have you, saying that I had a noise in the mast or a noise in the boom. And when I'd get up back into the quiet waters of the V&A, I'd report them to Ian, the factory guy, who's a lovely guy that took problems seriously and really took time to try to work out what problems were. So Ian went up onto the flybridge and moved the boom and heard a noise. And he said, well, he thinks that's what it is. And applied a whole lot of grease to it and said, look, eventually it'll work itself in.
Because it was not rolly in the V&A, the actual noise of the banging in the mast couldn't be heard.
Absolutely. So the only noise we had was the noise we had when moving the boom. So very early in the crossing, either just before or just after we got to Ludritz, Garen reported the noise to me, and I told him that it was a boom noise. I sort of brushed it off. And later on in the crossing, Garen insisted that I was wrong. And on a particularly rolly day at sea, he took me up there. And the noise was especially loud. To find out that Garen was correct was to listen to the loud noise, especially with my ear right up to the mast. Oh my gosh, it was like metal on metal. So I got hold of Marcel because I knew that the aftermarket guys, Marcel's guys, had put aluminium conduit all the way up the mast, and we assumed that it was the aluminium conduit that was slapping against the aluminium on the inside of the mast.
So we find ourselves up that same creek again.
Yep, so here we are up Shit Creek, having to spend our time here in the Caribbean fighting with these guys. Moving on, the video is going to cover how we eventually managed to associate the mast noise, the banging in the mast, with the faulty equipment and what we did about it, plus how we handled all the other problems. And it's also going to move into the lack of reaction that we've had from the factory about these issues. We after the Leopard broker guy blanket declined our entire warranty thing, we got hold of a lovely lady that I met who works for RNC. She then put me in touch with a gentleman who I think is some sort of technical manager. He has turned around and said that I need to use the portal. They have their own portal, a new portal, and I'll be going over this in future videos so that owners know what to do, and that I've got to log the problems in this portal, which I've since done. The only problem is I found out from the same nice guy at RNC that the issue's got to go back to that original guy that's got the problem with me for approval. So how this is going to work, I don't know. But we know they're real issues. I won't let up because it's a principal thing, These guys owe us the support, and they owe us the warranty issues, sorting it out. And quite frankly, both the support from them in terms of just guidance and advice and assistance while underway and while at sea has been shocking, because there's no one who gives it. It's not supposed to come from the factory, and neither is it supposed to come from Leopard. There's a structural problem or a process problem that somebody in the management of the two companies has to sort out, so that we're not left in this position. And then on top of it, there's no kind of caring for the fact that we absolutely, for instance, have to fix these issues that are issues that we can't sail with unless they have been fixed. There's no sort of acknowledgement of this, and even when we have, and we've gone back to them and said, well, that's the bill, it's just a general ignoring. And we're finding the same thing here in the Caribbean is being experienced by a lot of owners. And we can mention them all. And they know who they are because they're watching the movie. And most of them have said, absolutely, mention it. We're sick and tired of it.
That's the end of our crossing video, the good, the bad and the ugly. The next video is about having to deal with the repairs of those crossing issues here in the Caribbean without much support from Leopard, except some from Marcel when the poor guy's not too busy. We'll bring you up to date on the pain and the agony of these Leopard issues since arriving in the Caribbean in the beginning of November 2023, including having been confronted with Caribbean-style gangster behavior. As we move forward from the next video, we'll then keep you updated pretty much in real time with the factory and with what Leopard do and don't do as it happens. Additionally, on a less dramatic note and on an ongoing basis, we have a ton of practical boating videos coming up. For details of these, have a look in the description, as well as videos about our trip that we plan to do and the wonderful places that we visit and amazing experiences we will have, and the gorgeous and sometimes even naked people that we meet along the way. We know that eventually Leopard will do the correct thing. The only question is how long they'll take to do it. The quicker they do the right thing, the quicker we can start enjoying our new lifestyle and hopefully start to see our new home as being beautiful and not just a burden. We need you to know that your support will genuinely help speed up the process. All you need to do to help Melinda, Georgia and I is to click the subscribe button. We will also be attempting to answer the comments of all subscribers, but regardless of whether you plan to comment or not, please click the subscribe button and like our videos. Thank you so much.
Please click the subscribe and like button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help our channel.